Hello, I'm going to bring you on, Avery. You were live. We had to wait till the countdown was done.
Hey.
Sorry, there we go. Let's go. Bring you up here. All right. Well, hi, I'm Jamie Ruby. Welcome to Sci-Fi-vision presents Fandom Access for what is today? My brain's not with it.
27th.
Wednesday, November 27th.
It is Wednesday. I
Yes,
didn't
it
know
is Wednesday.
so we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's okay. And welcome our special guest, Avery. Thank you for coming. And of course, you play Sara for anybody who doesn't know, but if they're here, they probably know. But thank you for joining us, my co-hosts Karen and AJ. We have some people in the chat, and if you have questions for Avery, just put them in the chat and I'll put them up on the screen and we'll get going. It looks like some people are sending me text messages too with questions. So, but we're okay. But anyway, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So I first wanted to ask you, how do you think she's going to be doing after the fact that she tortured Elgin? I mean, she did what she had to do, but do you think it's going to affect her after?
I mean, they did have a bit of a relationship. Like, they've definitely connected over the past, season or two. So it's not an easy thing to do. And I think the aftermath of that is going to hit her hard. But, yeah, it will be interesting to see how all that plays out after they see each other for the first time. Definitely.
All right, we'll go to AJ this time.
So what's it like playing kind of the pariah throughout the whole series? Because ever since people found out Sara was hearing voices and she killed her brother and everything, it's like nobody trusts her at all. So is it weird on set because of it? Do people mess with you at all?
No, not anymore. I feel like more so when we were all getting to know each other, like season 1, it was more of a thing, but no, we're all super close and we're all friends and we talk about the scripts and character growth and all that kind of stuff. So we know each other really well now on a personal level. So there's none of that. More in a joking way, but not obviously in a serious way.
Right.
All right, sorry, I'm trying to fix that, Karen.
That's okay. There's been a lot of discussion since Sunday night about fans about what was Sara's state of mind when she did this. And as Jamie said, I think there's mostly consensus that she did what she thought she had to do. Do you think, would you agree with people? I don't know about people. Would you agree with me that Boyd bears some level of, Sara's ultimately responsible for her own actions, but
yeah.
Does Boyd have a level of responsibility for that, or is he complicit?
I mean, I think the state of mind that she was in was she knew out of everybody there what needed to be, what actually and how far they needed to go to get answers out of him. And because she overheard them talking in the kitchen, I think that's when she made the decision that she was gonna finish the job for him, just because she can tell that he's breaking as well, and because she's been exactly where Elgin is in mindset, she knows what she needs to do. So I don't think she thinks it. I mean, I definitely never approached it that way. As I think I would take it on as it was my fault for him, because I feel like Sara owes a lot to Boyd.
She does. I was thinking a little when Boyd sanctioned torture, when Boyd opened that door to torture, did he create that opportunity for Sara to even have the idea? Would Sara naturally think of torturing a person? Boyd putting that there.
No, I don't think so. I don't think she would naturally go to that place, because the only time she's ever done anything to physically harm somebody was when she was under the influence of the voices or getting messages from something telling her to do it. So I don't think that, I mean, I wouldn't like to think that that's a place that she naturally goes to, but in these circumstances, she knew that, and she made the choice to do that. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Can you talk about filming that scene? I mean, you still had to pretend to stab Nathan and everything. So talk about what that experience was like.
It was interesting. It was obviously near the end of, I think it was like one of my last-ish days of season 3. And it was way more technical than you would think. Like I was actually shocked. It was way more technical than it was emotional, which I thought it would be the other way around, just because you needed to get the angle exactly right of where I was holding the screwdriver and when it went up and how it was covering his face and all that kind of stuff. So, and it was also like a lot of pressure because it was such a huge plot point as well. But it was interesting to be on the other side of what her mindset would be, because she's kind of watching him go through what she's gone through, and to watch someone be in that state, I think was really interesting, just because she's been there before. So yeah, it was a really interesting scene to shoot, and because I kind of approached it as she kind of had to disassociate from herself and her body, so there's a bit of she's a bit stoic and not there, which was also interesting and something that I hadn't done yet, because the way she approaches this is way different than anything she's ever done, because this is her own decision. No one told her to, and there was no voices, there was nothing. So I wanted it to be very different than anything that I had done in the emotionality of it, and that's why it might have seemed like I was a little bit removed.
That makes sense. There was a lot of blood in that scene. Do you like working with the messy blood?
I do. Yeah, I think it's fun. I was actually really excited to get back into like I would say, I don't know, the aggressive part of her, because I hadn't done that in a while. And it's always fun. It's in a bizarre way, but yeah, it was fun. It gets sticky though after a while.
Yeah, I know people usually say they're finding it a long time later. They're finding blood.
Yeah. If you don't get in the shower right away.
AJ,
what do you like better, the aggressive stuff you were just talking about, or kind of the scenes like that you were having with Victor this season, where they're more calmer and more of a one-on-one situation with another character?
I like them both for different reasons. Because when I have scenes like the scenes that I had with Victor, you can really connect with somebody and see different parts of her. And but when you're doing more intense stuff, like what I did with Nathan, it is very technical, and the energy needs to be super, super high because of the stakes. So it's just a very different. I go into both of those with very different mindsets. But I like them equally, but they're just like very different things to me.
Karen?
Cool. I'm interested in Sarah's wardrobe. You know, we see her usually in a dress with a cardigan, and that shot that actually was one of the press shots that's released. You know, there's the little cute cardigan and then the blood. That her wardrobe almost conveys like a girliness, or even like a little girl, or like I don't want to say like almost like a 50s kind of vibe going on. Yeah. You know, I wonder how you feel about your costumes, your wardrobe, and does that help you get in her groove? Are her costumes, is there some signs we should be looking for in her wardrobe?
I don't think there are any signs. I think it's just like what she wears is like a huge indication of who she is. Like if you look at everybody else, she's not dressed like anybody else. Like, I mean, everyone is very individual on the show, but I like how everyone's so separate from each other, but also very distinct with their character. Like you would never see like Julie wearing anything that I'm wearing, or Tabitha or anything like that. So I'm always really excited to see what wardrobe has picked out for me, and putting things together. And obviously, it was nothing that I would wear every day, but it does help me get in, like, feel like her. And I've been wearing the same shoes since season 1, so putting those on always helps. And yeah, I love her. I love her wardrobe. John always calls me, like, this past season, he always calls me the Amish serial killer, because he's like, with the skirt, every time, like, he would turn around and just, like, watch me standing there. He's like, you just look like an Amish serial killer this year. But yeah, I really, really love her wardrobe, and wardrobe does such a great job at making everyone, like, really distinct in their character, but also so separate from each other.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring up Fletcher's question because it's sort of related to this. It says the fact that you're wearing all white, like the boy in white in the pilot episode when the Matthews family arrives, do you think it had a deeper meaning?
That was one of my favorite dresses. I think it was made custom, honestly. I'm pretty sure it was made specifically for me, and that's why you didn't see it after, because I got a bunch of blood on it and they couldn't get it out, which I was upset about because I wanted to wear it longer. I haven't necessarily thought about that. I don't think so, but it could. I think they maybe just like the fabric, if I'm being honest. But I did really, really love that dress a lot. I think it might be one of my favorites, or my favorite outfit that she's worn. Wow. It's been a long time.
It's okay. This is a multi-part question from Justin Fields.
Sure.
How much do you personally relate to your character? Do you find you and Sara have a lot or a little in common, if anything at all? And do you take advice from your character for your own life? So I was going to say, that's a few questions in there.
Yeah.
But.
I don't think we have a ton in common. I think there are a few quirks that she has that are similar to me. But for the most part, I think we're very, like, pretty much polar opposites. I think advice I would take, I don't know if I would take, like, verbal advice from her, but I think she's very resilient, which I would say that I can also be that way. So that's something I would relate to. And as much as it doesn't seem like it, I think she's very, because of the circumstances of what happened, she's very family oriented, which I am as well. But other than that, I really don't think that there's too many similarities between me and Sara.
That's fair. Now, this may be sort of in line with what you were saying, but maybe you have more to add. PM wanted to know how you channel Sara, and you were talking about what you do have, the little bit you do have in common, but.
I feel like it kind of comes when I put the wardrobe on, when I read the lines. I think I had a playlist that I used to listen to a ton, season 1 and sometimes season 2, not so much season 3. But when you spend that much time being and acting as somebody, I think it just, like, it's like, I don't know, putting on a different pair of shoes, but they're also, like, it's inside of my body, I think, at this point. And it's also just, like, trusting myself that I know it's going to be there, because I have done it for a while. But I also think it's part of the physicality too. She can be very tense because of all of the weight that she carries. So I think my physicality changes when I start shooting. So that's something as well. I hope that kind of answers the question.
Oh, good. AJ, well, I'll go back to the chat in a bit. Why don't you ask something?
No, it's all right. We'll ask another chat question. There's a lot of them.
I was gonna say I can go. I'm just let's see. Trying to get somebody different. Okay. Grow and Thrive. What do you think Sara was like before she came from? To from. That's
Somehill.
I think,
Somehill.
yeah, it's a from.
I think it was easier for her to hide in the real world. I think that this place brings out things and a darker side of people that they already have within them, but it's easier to hide when you're not there. And it forces you to face those things. I think it was easier for her to hide. I still think that she was broken, not as broken as she is now, but I think she was on the cusp of, teetering the line of that all the time. But again, it was easier for her to hide from things when she had, just like reality, and not this, like these monsters to face all the time, and all these things happening to her.
Let's see. Now, this is PM has a question, sort of. I don't even know if you know the answer, but about her backstory. Is she an abused? Do you believe Sarah's backstory is that of abuser or abused? Violence seems to be a theme in her life.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you a lot about what her backstory is, or if you've made it up for her, but
there has been a couple of scenes where I've talked about a bit of her past, and she was in an abusive relationship. And I believe that it was Nathan that came and kind of got her out of that. So it is a theme, unfortunately, of something that she's had to deal with in the past. And I think that has a lot to do with how she carries herself throughout the show.
That's fair. All right. Let's see. Richard says, what's the scene you most enjoyed filming, and what actor or actress have you learned the most from?
What scene? I mean, out of all of the seasons, it's hard to pick just one, but I would say this season, one of my favorite scenes it was really short. The scene with Victor when I had Jasper, and he was kind of freaking out at me. That was one of my favorite scenes. And the tent scene as well with Victor. And who have you learned the most from? I learned from everybody that I work with on the show. Everyone approaches things so differently, and watching everyone kind of show up in their own way is really interesting. And you take things from everybody. So I don't think there's one person. I think I've learned from everybody.
Okay. Now let me ask you, going back to kind of what happened in the finale, how do you think the town is going to react when she comes back? I assume they're going to know some of what happened. Do you think that she'll be allowed to be left alone again, or is she going to just kind of, I know you don't know, but I'm just curious what you think is kind of maybe
I think it could be 50-50, because she has that whole, I mean, it depends. I don't think Acosta is going to be thrilled. I think that Boyd will back her up. But she has people there who knew what was going on. So the group of people that she was with, I hope that they would back her up a little bit. There are some people that I'm sure would be skeptical of her still, just because of her history. But I think some people will ride for her. I hope, at least.
We hope so. Karen, do you have something? I want to give you guys a chance to talk to.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just digging a little bit more into Sarah's state of mind on that fateful night. You talked about her doing what needed to be done. We have discussed a little bit about, does Sarah feel like, look, I can't, everybody hates me, is afraid of me. I can't come back from what I did. So I might as well be the one to do this. I feel like there's also a part of her that's really desperate to sort of make it up by helping people get home and helping to solve the mystery. She's one of the few people who is open about what she experiences, right? I wonder where you feel she is in between those two poles, between it can't get any worse for me in this town. Let me just do this. Or I really want to help these people, and where she is in there on that spectrum.
I think ultimately she just wants to help people, but also she owes a lot to Boyd and she cares a lot about him. And he's been there for her and truly knows who she is and what she's capable of. So I think that was the main thing, at least that was motivating her to do it. I think she's past the point of you saw a lot of her trying to make amends with people in season 2, and it did not go well. I think she's made peace with where she's at and knows that she's an outcast. If she can ever find room to not be that, that would be great. But she's done a lot in the past couple seasons, so I don't expect people to forgive her super quick. But I think ultimately she was doing it for Boyd more than anything.
To like relieve him of being the one to have to do that.
And she can also see that he's unraveling as well. And I think she just felt a responsibility to him. And also I don't see her second guessing her loyalty at all to when she decides that she's loyal to somebody. I guess that's a similarity that her and I have, and maybe why it's not confusing for me to do some of the things that she's done if she's decided like I'm loyal to this person. So, and she's very, very loyal to him for everything that he's done for her.
I just want to ask you, because you made me wonder, you're saying about she knows Boyd's breaking. Do you think she's at all breaking? I mean, she holds it together in front of people, but I'm just curious, do you think that she's still together? Because she doesn't seem to be letting it affect her.
I mean,
very strong in that sense.
You saw a ton of it in season 2, like the whole Russian roulette scene, and it just, that whole season 2 was super hard on her, and her unraveling and having no one and nothing, no one to turn to or anything. I think she's trying to find not peace, but acceptance within that. And I think she's finding more of a routine instead of trying to make amends. Like, I think she's like accepted where she's at more than anything. And she says, like, in the last scene that, like, she's pretty much given her soul. It's taken it from her. So I think, I said this earlier, I think there's room with acceptance to grow, even if it's accepting something terrible, that she can grow from that. Who knows which way that's going to go. But I feel like when I approached all of her scenes this year, she was way more grounded in who she was, what she's done, and like where she's at within the dynamic of everybody in the town.
Right now, I assume you pronounce this Muvik. I don't know. I was asking, what do you think of the people shipping Sara with Victor? I don't know that I've heard that one yet, but
I have not heard that, and they have a very sibling-like relationship. I love them as a brother-sister relationship. I love them as friends, but nothing more than that, for sure. Yeah, I don't picture Sara with anybody ever in a romantic way.
That's fair.
Really, because we have a question somewhere in the chat. I lost it, and there are others out there shipping, or maybe thought they saw something between Sara and Elgin.
I think they have a connection because they relate to.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Sorry.
Seeing a romance between Sara and Elgin. She did. Yeah, I think she loves to find connection with people, but until it's written, Sarah's like asexual in my head. I just don't see her as, like, she's got so much other stuff going on. I think she loves connection and friendship, but again, until I see it written, like it's kind of, that's how she is for me. Again, I could be way off, I don't know, but but that's definitely not in the forefront of her mind or mine as far as she's concerned.
Okay. Taran asks if you have been able to collaborate and input on Sarah's backstory with John Griffin.
No, I mean, I pretty much leave the whole writing process to them. I don't really give my input. I don't think I've ever really given my input about anything much, just because I love what they do, and I think it's so brilliant that I don't need to put my input in there. But I would be interested in more of her backstory, but I guess we're going to have to see if that's something they're wanting to incorporate with the season coming up.
Are they open though usually to that, or they kind of
they're still open? They'll take everyone's suggestions and they'll meet with you about literally anything. I just like have never had anything where I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or I think this. Like I really trust them with what they're doing, and I think they trust me as well. So I just don't see any point at this with what I've been given, at least this far, to really say.
No, I get that. I just wondered, because since their story sometimes is so dense, I wondered if it wouldn't screw them up adding things in. I would question it might, but
yeah, no, they're really great about hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions. We're very lucky.
All right. I don't think I put this one up yet. If you could play another character in From, who would you pick and why?
I actually never really thought about this because I love playing Sara so much. But maybe Boyd. I think. Or Donna, like someone way opposite than Sara. I think someone, because they come off as so strong, and she does too in her own way, but it's just like the aggression's way different. And I think that would be interesting to approach that feeling in a different way.
Sure. And Karen and AJ, if you want to jump in when I'm in the middle of doing these, just tell me. Otherwise, I'll keep picking.
There's a lot of great questions in the chat.
Yeah, I don't want to ignore you guys. Pam says she's been defending Sara. What's your opinion on people, I could talk, condemning Sara for her actions?
I mean, everyone's open and to their own opinions, so I don't really read too much into it, to be completely honest. As long as I'm clear where I'm at, I'm more than happy and excited to see what everyone's reactions are, just because usually my headspace is so different than what the reactions are. So I just think it's interesting more than anything.
Do you read a lot of people's reactions on the internet? Do you go to?
Yeah, well, I see them. They pop up all the time. On TikTok, if I see a TikTok, I'll always read or I'll comment or yeah. So I'm always seeing things online, and I'll always read them. I don't really ever skip them.
That's cool. It sounded like you were going to say something and I cut you off.
Okay. So have you had any theories about what the show is about that have been debunked, or any theories that you have that are still possible because they haven't gotten to that point yet?
I personally, honestly, because there's so many moving parts to what's going on, I'm always focused on my little tiny world of what's going on inside of her head, that I don't even go beyond that, because it would never end. But I do, again, I do read online everyone's theories, and I think honestly a lot of you are just way smarter than I am and looking for clues, just because I guess we get into a groove and we're used to it, and there's probably clues all around us, when we're shooting on set and we don't even notice, that you guys will point out. But because you're just so caught in that one person's world, it's hard to see outside of it. So I have a But I will say that some people are really like invested in that, and David would be one of them. Like he's very, very similar to his character. And he has a lot of ideas of what that might be. And I think Ricky as well. But me personally, honestly, I'm very sorry, but I don't.
Do you have like a favorite theory of somebody else's, or maybe one that you think is completely off base or close?
Yeah, there's been some people commenting. I dressed up as Tinkerbell for Halloween because that was the only thing I had. So, and people were like, oh, this is a sign that, because they think it's a fairy realm, apparently is a theory. And I just want to put the record straight that it was the only thing that I had to wear. I was not thinking about From at all on Halloween. So, so I've seen a couple of people comment on my TikTok that, and I always laugh. And Peter Pan's like one of my favorite movies. So that has, it's completely unrelated to From at all.
So you have to take some days off from thinking about From. Is there like one like mystery though that you really want to know an answer to, that you kind of think about, even if you don't come up with theories? Is there something that you kind of sticks in your head that you think about?
I really love that they open the whole story walker thing with Julie. I'm wondering how all of that's going to tie together. I'm really interested in that storyline, even her with the rope. And I see a lot of people online. It's an episode, the episode 1, when she sees the guy, the teen monster, and she kind of like takes a second and like looks at him like she's seen him before. I'm wondering if they're going to tie that together. So I'm really interested to see how that, how that grows over time.
Yeah, I saw I didn't even realize he was in the cave with Smiley at the end. I didn't know that. I saw somebody screen captured it. The guy.
Oh, really? No, see, neither did I.
On the porch. Yeah. I'm always finding out new things. Let's see. Fromely Theory says, when you mentioned your brother's nightmares to become part of this place, what were your thoughts on that?
I think it's great insight. We haven't really touched on it again, but it would make sense. It's interesting how, because Sara talks about the cicadas and how they went camping. They used to go on camping trips, and Nathan hated the cicadas, and then how they came back, and the whole Randall thing with those. Like, I think that is all going to tie together somehow. But I definitely think that that's an Easter egg of some kind. And I don't have the answer for you, but I think it's very interesting as well.
What would it be like? What would your nightmare be if it was in the town? What freaks you out?
Me personally? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't like loud noises. Like, I don't like them at all. So I don't know if there was like a constant, not the cicadas, but like a constant loud noise that just like would never go away. I think that I would lose it. I don't know what that would sound like like a loud ringing or something. I don't know, but that really sets me off.
Okay. Liz, I'll put Lizzie's question up. Lizzie's my 9-year-old cousin who is somehow not afraid of her. She wants to know, do you have fun playing Sara?
I love playing Sara. It's so much fun, and it's a lot, like, it's a challenge, but it's a great challenge. And it's a lot of fun.
Okay. You guys got something? I want to make sure I give you 2 chances. I can't see you behind. I can't see you behind the chat box to see if you're trying to talk.
I mean, for me, I don't know how much time we have with Avery. So, and there's a couple of great like Sara theory questions in the chat still. Or AJ might have a good Sara theory question.
No, let's get some more chat questions.
I mean,
all right.
That killed the boy comment. Wow.
Let's see. Where did it go?
I got it. I'll put it up.
Oh, that's a joke. That's not serious. Wait. Did you find one? Okay. It's hard to go through. I keep losing them.
I had this question before. I don't remember when it was, but I do remember answering it, and the answer is, do you, or if it's Ethan, could Ethan become bad in the future? I don't personally think that it was for the boy in white because I hadn't met him or seen him yet. So as far as I'm concerned, he's the only boy that I knew, and they they were friends at that time. So, and Ethan meant and means a lot to her. So I think to see that was really jarring. And as far as Ethan becoming bad in the future, I really have no idea. I mean, I don't know what they have up their sleeve for him, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Breezy Acre says the words on Sarah's arm looked a lot like the worms under Boy's skin, but that hasn't happened to Sarah again, so it was just the voices manipulating her.
Yes, it was the voices. It was the voices sending her a message.
So no worms. No worms.
No worms.
Do you think that she could ever be susceptible to those voices again? They're so convincing. They convinced her and Elgin to do terrible things, but like...
Well, the last message she got from them was about they were giving her clues about where Fatima was.
Yeah.
She goes in and she talks to Ellis and Boyd and gives them information. So it's really interesting because sometimes they tell her to do bad things, but then sometimes, and then also episode 10, season 2, like she was the one who discovered the music box, the whole music box, and how you had to break it. So I don't think that they're a bad thing. I hope that she would be able to decipher whether it's a good or a bad message. We haven't really seen that yet, which would be really interesting because every time she's gotten a message in the past little while, it's always been helpful. So yeah, that is very interesting. She hasn't gotten a message in to tell her to do anything bad since season 1, I think. So that is very interesting how they switched. I honestly didn't connect that. But yeah, that would be interesting if she had to come up against something that told her to do something not good. Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah,
hopefully if it happens again this time, she'll resist doing it. Fletcher wants to know, could Sarah, because I've heard this a lot, I know this is one of the theories, could Sarah be Eloise reincarnated? Explaining why Victor opens up so freely towards her and playing Sarah in Sarah's house was Eloise's favorite. So play when they're I can't read today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got you.
When they were younger. I'm trying not to block out people's questions.
If reincarnation becomes a theme, I mean, it's not out of reach. I honestly never thought about that, but I wouldn't be, if that was written in, I wouldn't be surprised because they do have that brother-sister connection or the relationship thing going on. So I think that would be really cool. I'll tell John for you.
So I was going to say, Danielle's asking about the reincarnation. Some of these are very similar. That's what I'm trying to say.
You believe that? Honestly, I've never thought about it because this is like a new.
This is new, yeah.
It's a whole new like bag of worms. Is that the term?
It is now.
Can of worms, I think, is the term. Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah. So I've never thought about it, but I mean, because of the voices, maybe, but also Elgin's hearing them too. So, but he could be, we could all be reincarnated. Honestly, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
I think in this show, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. Great Ocean Disaster Aquarium says, do you think season 4 release of 2026 has to do with things changing to summer filming again? I kind of wondered that too. Like, are they waiting for it to go back to whatever season they want to use?
First of all, we never want to film in winter again. So that's just what that is. The only reason we did that was because of the strike, and that's the soonest we could go back was winter. So that's why this past season was filmed in winter. I don't know. We don't know when it's being released. Like, we don't know if it's being released into 2025. We don't know if it's being released. I feel like the 2026 thing has been online, but it's never been confirmed when it's coming out. It easily could be 2026, but I don't know. It could be 2025.
We'll just hope it's 2025 and that you're right. How's that?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, Sara, before she heard the voices and did all the stuff she did, seemed like a pretty sweet person. Elgin's a very sweet person. Do you think the town or the voices or whatever it is, whatever the entity is, kind of takes that and uses that as a manipulation and like seeks out people like you and Elgin?
100%. Like they prey on the weak, and Elgin's just getting the worst of it right now. I think I've been through the worst of it, maybe, I don't know, and I came out the other side, kind of, I don't know, but they definitely prey on the weak because you don't see it happening to anybody else in that sort of way. So yeah, they're both delicate.
Right. Alice says, do the writers and directors, I don't know if you know if they do, but who chooses the music jukebox songs in the show, or do the actors choose?
It's not us. I think it's Jack. I think Jack picks. I honestly don't know. And then a lot of the music is written for the show. So, but the jukebox songs probably Jack and Jeff and John, I'm assuming. My favorite genre of music is R&B and pop, but more so R&B.
All right, fair. I'm trying to make sure I get everybody and get some different ones. How do you feel? Also, he says a lot of people are calling Sara the MVP of season 3. How do you feel about that?
I feel great.
And then Baby Clay's made a tag, Sara for MVP.
Yeah, I feel great because she got a lot of hate for a while. So I think she's getting the recognition that she deserves personally, but that's just me. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm seeing a lot of love on my social media, which I really appreciate. And I'm glad that you guys all liked the season finale.
Yes, it's awesome. Does Avery feel bad for, oops, I hit the wrong thing. Do you think she feels bad for what she did? Probably.
Sara feels bad. Yes. I mean, how could you not? Because I think if you do that to anybody, you would feel bad, but she did what she needed to do in a time of absolute chaos.
Let's see. Fletcher says, do you think Sara could become a story walker like Julie because she has seizures? And that's
seizures have been sort of a common thread in the show. It happened to me, Ethan, Julie. Has it happened to anybody else? Maybe not.
Elgin, I guess. I was gonna say because Baby Clay asked too. Same thing. Elgin, I think.
Okay, yeah. I don't necessarily think that Sara would become a story walker. I think she can be helpful in other ways, but I feel like that's Julie's thing that she needs to explore.
All right, that's fair.
We had a comment way back in the chat.
Go ahead.
Sara's the new sheriff in town.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
That's funny.
That's great. Danielle was saying, if Kenny takes over for Boyd, do you think that Kenny will protect and trust Sara? And do you think the town is starting to trust her again?
I hope so. I loved working with Ricky. We're close friends, so if that would bring us to be able to work together more again, I would love that. Yeah, we had a ton of fun working together. We had a ton, but most of my scenes were with him in season 2, so I would love to work with him more closely again.
Awesome. Do you have to go a certain time? I didn't ask you that at the beginning.
Oh no, I'm good. Okay,
yeah, I just want to make sure before you, because there is still quite a few. Do you find it emotionally difficult to play Sara? How do you disconnect and unwind?
Yes. I think it depends on the content of what she's dealing with. I have found it difficult in previous years. This season, not as much. Had a disconnect. I mean, I'm really close with my family and close with the cast as well, and we all know what it's like to be emotionally drained. So just reaching out to somebody. And to unwind, I usually like watching the same show over and over again. Right now, that's Gilmore Girls. So I've been watching that pretty much since we wrapped, which was in May. And I also play Animal Crossing on my Nintendo Switch.
Hey, that's good. Let me ask you one of my questions I've been asking everybody. How do you think that you would handle being in the town? How would Avery handle it?
Not well. I don't think I can handle it well at all. Especially if I went in there alone, it would not be good. If I was with someone else, then maybe a little bit better, but not good. Not good at all.
You know, across the board, the whole cast answers that question pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
Like everyone except Liz Saunders.
Yeah, I was going to say Liz yesterday. She seemed. Now Nathan said he'd hang himself, so he's
wow,
he's really on the opposite end of the spectrum.
But we knew what was coming.
Yeah,
we didn't know what was coming for him. He knew when he told us that.
Right.
Yeah. Very true. Let's see. How did Sarah from Theory asks, how did Sara cope with the weight of knowing her actions, even with good intentions, to have such severe consequences?
Which time? I don't even with it comes. I don't think she knows what's going to happen when she does a lot of the things that she does. Like she thinks she's doing it for or at least at first, she thinks she's doing it for the greater good. Finds out that wasn't the case. And as far as like what season 3, episode 10 goes, I think she just really wanted to get the answer out of him so they could save Fatima, but ultimately do it for Boyd, because she knew that I don't think that he would be able to go as far as she did. So she was doing it for him.
Losing her brother was an unintended consequence, right? And
yeah, it was an accident. I always get people commenting on my social media like, "Why did you kill your brother?" I'm like, it was unintentional. Obviously, none of it was good, but she's forever going to be broken because of it and devastated. And it was probably like one of the worst days of her life before even coming into the town. Like, I would think that would be the worst day of her life for sure. Losing him and having her do that to him would be just like, that's always in the back of her head with everything that she does. And that's never going to go away.
I don't think anything worse. That's like the worst thing probably that happened to her, right?
Yeah. And it's awful.
It does put her right up there with Boyd, who like had to shoot Abby, right? Like those two are like neck and neck at the top of the trauma scale for this town, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's something that Harold and I like. That's a through line of character through everything that we do. Is carrying the weight of doing that to somebody that you love.
I have an odd question I've wondered before that I just remembered now I wanted to ask. Do you know why she kissed Toby before she stabbed him?
I have no idea. Not a clue.
Okay.
I don't know. It's very odd to me and out of character. Like if it was shot now, I would be like, this doesn't make sense. But I think we were all trying to figure out who these people were. Like that was my first day. So yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe it was a way, for me justifying it in my head, it was a way of like trying to connect with him, or like, I don't know. She's an odd duck. So I don't know, but yeah, that's something that's like the one thing where I'm like not too sure about still to this day, or how to justify it, really, to be completely honest.
She was kissing him goodbye.
Yeah.
Did you record any scenes that got cut out this season?
No, I didn't. Everything we shot was what you saw this season. Everything we shot was what you guys got to see.
All right, fair. Great Ocean Disaster says something good you need to mention to the producers to give us blooper reels. I agree with that.
I don't think people break too often, to be honest. I don't know how much of a blooper reel there would be. I think it would be really fun to have, but everyone's really locked in. So I don't know how many there would be, but if we happen to have some, I would love to see them too. It would be really fun to watch.
All right. And let's see. Scarlett asks, are you given direction by the showrunners on how the voices are in your head? And any backstory of that?
No, they kind of leave it up to me. And if something's not working, then I'll get direction otherwise. But
I was going to say, I think we all want to know what the voices are. I didn't think you'd be able to answer that. We want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I try and fill in the blanks myself. It's not written what. I think it depends on the situation. Sometimes I just fill in the blanks, and sometimes it is written what I hear. But then also you'll hear me say, "Oh, they said this. They said this." So, but how it's portrayed. Usually she's just like in a lot of pain. So trying to make that come in sort of the same way every time is something that I wanted to keep similar. I hope that kind of answers that question.
Yeah. All right. Fromly Theory. How do you think Sara perceives her role in the town's mysteries, and do you think she views herself as a villain or a reluctant hero?
I think she's really ashamed of the things that she's done, and she knows that. I mean, you can see that like in season 2, she just kind of gives herself to people. She just kind of shows up for people to do what they need to do in order to grieve what she's done and what she's done to them. I don't know if she would view herself as a hero. I don't think her self-esteem is super high. I just know that she's a very loyal person, which I think I said earlier. And she wants to do everything that she can in her power to help. But I don't think that she probably struggles with that a lot. But I don't think that she would view herself as a hero as of right now, at least.
Right. I think this was sort of a part 2 because this is from the same person. But how do you think Sara's actions have impacted the way the other characters perceive her? And do you think redemption's possible?
Oh, no one. I mean, I feel like some people are starting to be open to the idea of maybe having a sort of conversation with her. But I think with the way things went in season 3, redemption's possible. I think she's starting to get there. What that looks like is probably different from a lot of people just because of all of the stuff that she's done in the past. But overall, yes, I think that redemption would be possible for her. I hope so anyways.
This one's not about From. Do you have a favorite Animal Crossings character? With Alice wants to know.
I don't know. I just know that there's this one character that I have in my town that I want to move out, and he just won't leave. But yeah, I'm not sure which one is my favorite.
All right, we'll do a couple more. Do you know how long it's been since the pilot episode? We were talking to Liz about this yesterday.
How many days have gone in from? Oh, how many days have gone in from? Not that many. It hasn't been that long. Probably around a month, maybe. Like, it's not. I don't know what the time jump is from season 2 to season 3 though, because of the season change. but it's not it's not like it's been years or anything like that.
Right,
I would say maybe like max a couple months.
Yeah, I think that maybe that's a writer question. Everybody seems to want to know a specific date.
No, there's no specific dates. We have no idea, but I just know that the timeline isn't that long. Like, I feel like season 1 is probably like, I don't know, a week or 2. Like, it's not long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a short time. We'll do, I know you've been on here almost an hour. We'll do a couple more and then let you go. I know you probably want to get going, but is there a particular scene or moment that stood out to you, especially challenging or rewarding?
There are a lot of rewarding moments, I think, for her. Rewarding. I think when I think of rewarding, I would go back to season 1 when you can see the whole shift in dynamic with Boyd and Sara, because he really did not like her when they went out to the forest. And then you slowly see the him allowing her to help him. That was very rewarding. And then she gained that friendship with him. I think that would be definitely the most rewarding thing that she's accomplished this far, I think.
Okay. PM says, what's your opinion on Boyd's willingness to sacrifice his soul for his son regarding the torture?
I think I get it. I mean, as like a Sara point of view, I would definitely understand. I would do the same thing. I think she would do the same thing if someone needed her to. So yeah, I think she gets it.
Hey, I have a go ahead, Jamie, and then I have a
No, I was going to say, do you know how many seasons they think they're going to have? Do you think it'll take to complete the story?
It's supposed to be 5. It's always been 5. So I don't think it will be more than that. And like as from season 1, it's always been they're completing the story in 5 seasons. So I think that's what we're aiming for. I don't know if that's a secret or not. I don't think it is.
No, I think that's I think people just want more than 5. I think that's the thing. Go ahead, Karen. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, I wanted to make sure I asked, but I don't know how much longer we have with you. I wanted to be sure to ask, have you been working during the hiatus, or will we have a chance to see you in anything else while we're waiting through this long from drought?
Not right now. It's like, it's difficult to be able to do other things, just like scheduling wise and contract wise as well. Mm-hmm. So it depends when we go back, but hopefully I might have time to do one little small thing before we go back for season 4. But as of right now, no. But if anything comes up, I'm sure I'll post it somewhere, or I'll let everyone know.
All right. Let's do one more. And I know we've been almost an hour. I don't want to keep you here all night, but can you talk about the scene with Victor when they built the fort? The fans found it hilarious. Victor was so honest with Sara about finding her scary. That was good.
Yeah, I did not expect people to for some reason that didn't even faze me. Coming from him, and I think she can be very forward and blunt as well. So I don't think that was strange for her. Obviously, whenever someone says something along those lines, it's hurtful because it just brings up all the baggage that she has. But I think she gets it. Like, she understands. And if she was in his position, she'd probably be acting pretty similar. I think that's why they have that funny, weird relationship where they just get it. And as far as filming that scene, it was so much fun. I love forts. I don't know what it is. I've loved them for ever. So when I read that we were going to have a scene in a fort, I couldn't believe it. And I told John, and he was like, no way. I had no idea. So, yeah, it was a super fun day. And, yeah, I love watching him work. And, I think that those scenes turned out really, really well. So I was happy to see them.
Let's do one more, and then I will let you go. How did Harold? I still can't.
It's okay.
Did Harold offer any advice or insights on set that impacted how you approached Sara?
No, I mean, Harold is very supportive to everybody and everything that they do, but he's also like leaves the floor open for everybody, and you can always see that he's also learning as well, which is something that I admire so much about him and love so much about him. Is like it's never like we're all on the same playing field and we're all there to work together. I'm sure if I ever had an instance where I was like, what do you think about this? Or like, I need advice on this, he would always give it to me. But that's what I love so much about him is I never felt intimidated, which would be especially like season 1 when we had a lot to work together and we didn't know each other too well, obviously, year 1, but we have a really great friendship, and I admire who he is as a person and as an artist and as a dad and everything, and he's just the best. So I've taken a lot of just like watching how he is on set and how gracious he is to everybody. As the lead of the show is like, we're so incredibly lucky to have somebody like him leading us, and just watching him is like the best like advice you could get, just like watching him perform. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers that question.
All right. Well, we've kept you a whole hour. Thank you for staying. Appreciate the time. And thank you, everybody, for your questions. I think I got through most of them, but thank you. We appreciate it. And hopefully maybe we'll talk to you again next season. We'll see. But
yeah, I would love that.
Glad that we know there's a renewal now, at least. So we have something
yeah, me too.
to look forward to. But all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I guess it's not Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Avery.
Have a good holiday anyway.
Well, you guys have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you, everybody. I was going to say thank you, everybody, for the great questions. I tried to get through as many as I could, but we couldn't keep her, all night. But thank you. I was going to check and see if I'd heard back from the publicist before we go to see if I have an answer, but I don't think they've written yet. But I don't want to not look. No, we didn't yet. I'm still waiting to see, but we think we're going to have John Griffin and Jeff Pinkner next Friday. So on is that the 6th? 6th,
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It's likely going to be on the 6th, but I haven't gotten confirmation on date yet, so don't hold me to that. But at least that way you guys got an idea. It's going to be somewhere around there, but it will be, sometime next week. So just keep checking, Sci-Fivision socials on. I can put the banner up on, especially on X. That's where I usually will probably put it first. You can find it there, but even on the YouTube, I try to put it in the community board for that. But thank you, everybody, for coming. Please, if you haven't, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. And I'm also going to put my Discord in here. I'm building it. There's not much there yet, but I'm going to try it this weekend. Excuse me, finish fixing it. But but thank you, everybody. Sorry if we didn't get to your questions. We tried. Let's see. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody who's saying thank you.
Get those questions ready for the writers. That's who.
Be getting questions ready for the writers. That's definitely a good thing.
They can answer the time frame question.
Yeah. There's certain. I want to know if they changed it to the winter season just because of the time they filmed. I wrote that down.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, thank you, everybody. I see all your comments coming through. Everybody really seemed to like the interview, so that's good.
Right.
But, we'll be back Tuesday with our normal show. Are we going back to 10 o'clock? Okay, 10 p.m. Eastern now that From's over. And I think this, like I said before, this Sunday that Julie and I are still going to do some form of a From deep dive on this channel. So yeah, just keep checking our socials, and we'll let you know. But thanks. And thank you to Avery too. And thank you to all our guests. It's been great. We've gotten so many people. So, all right. Have a good evening. I guess it's not night yet. We're usually at night, but have a good evening. All right. Goodbye.